Hey. Okay. So I have been trying to figure out exactly what it is I'm supposed to resolve because I've been getting a nagging sense that I have to resolve some things with some people. The whole problem with this push and pull BS is that every time I be the bigger person and I go to somebody and try to resolve something with them, it's like for a split moment they're cool with it, but then automatically they turn and flip it on me somehow. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but it happens to me quite often. And because I have a heart, I actually have a heart, because I want to be the one to resolve things, it almost feels like I'm supposed to be the one that takes all the burdens on. No, absolutely not. Just because somebody is a bigger person, they come to you and they want to resolve something, doesn't mean you have the right to take all of your accountability and place it on to them. That's not okay. It doesn't mean that you don't get to stand there. I mean that you get to stand there and not take your part in it, not own up to your part, what you were responsible for, the things that you did. And there's times where I've approached people and I've been like maybe had uh, a disagreement, a mild disagreement to an extreme argument. Well, it doesn't matter what the severity is. I've been the one to approach and be like, listen, okay, like maybe I shouldn't have done this, or maybe but they cling to it. Some people will cling to that and then automatically keep poking at you. And I've even called a person out during the whole resolution period. I've been like, don't do that. I said, I'm trying to speak to you right now. Don't do that. And they're like, what? I'm like, you're poking now. Now you're looking for reasons to throw at me instead of taking your accountability, which we're both supposed to be finding some solution to this, like problem solving, right? It's two adults maturely speaking. Now that you are taking the upper advantage because I am showing my vulnerability and taking my accountability and giving you my side, now you find a way to flip it on me. And then a lot of times, even myself will take that when we're being disrespected in that sense, or we're saying, okay, well, this person doesn't, then you want to stoop back down to that level of getting even. Then you almost get pulled into that negative state of mind because now it's you standing up for yourself. You're like, you know what? I wanted to resolve this with you. I wanted to be cool about this. But then you go ahead and do something, or you go back on something, or now you're poking at me and you really don't want any resolution from what I'm seeing. So now I'm upset about it. This has triggered me. So now it's gotten to the point where, okay, you really don't want to resolve it. So it can be upsetting to people. So we're responsible for our actions and how we handle ourselves. And yes, it's really upsetting when you are so brave enough to show your vulnerability to somebody and go up and want to resolve something with them, and for them to kind of be rude or catty or even disrespectful to your face in return. So we get to the ego there. And I think that's become a big part of it. A lot of times when it comes to arguments or disagreements or something like that, and two people just can't seem to come eye to eye, they can't seem to reach some sort of resolution there, and they can't just seem to get on even ground, because every time one person approaches the other, it's usually one in specific, but sometimes there's two people that come together. When one shows the vulnerability and they want resolution and they approach the other one will respond in the same. Mature. Be like, this is my part in it and I'm sorry, and yes. And you will get to some sort of agreement. You'll move forward from that because you both learn from the lesson, because you both understand that you were both triggered for whatever reason and you want to move past that. But there's a lot of circumstances where people are still in the ego. They're still doing their healing. If they've done no shadow work whatsoever, you've got the one that's sort of done their part and they want to be the bigger person and approach and resolve the issue or the argument or whatever it is to get to some sort of even playing field. But then you got the other one that's catty enough that when you're showing your vulnerability to them, they take full advantage of that and they kind of flip it and give you the bird. You know, they kind of say fuck you without saying fuck you. And it's really frustrating. I want to be able to just say that I personally have just been able to walk away from that and be calm. But no, I personally have been triggered by that too. And then you get to a point where it's almost like you flip the switch. Then you go into heartless mode. Then you go into, well, fine. If you're not going to be receiving this well, if you are not responding to me in the way that I feel I would respond, because remember, not everybody is you. Well, if you are not going to be respectful to me, then I'm going to throw that back at you, sort of deal. And then you get into the mentality of like, you know what, fuck you. It's kind of now you're in the negative vibrational frequency of walking around the room telling everybody to go fuck themselves sort of attitude. And that's fine because you're just trying to protect yourself, but at the same time too, that's a reaction in itself, and it's what you're putting out too, not necessarily positive. I have come up against people and tried to reason with them and try to talk to them about certain things, and I've triggered them. I've said something that maybe brings something up from their past and they don't like it, and automatically they go into defense mode and they start attacking me. So not specifically what it is that I've said, but now they start attacking my character, calling me ugly or saying you're stupid or you need help, you're mentally ill or something like that, because I've triggered something within them. I've pulled something up from the depths of the sea and they don't want to really look at it. And then if I try to approach them with caution and maybe try to do some resolution thing there, not always do I do that, but sometimes I'm like, listen, okay, I stepped on your toes or I've said something, I understand I've upset you. And I do want to apologize for upsetting you. It's just I think some things need to be addressed at this moment in time. You know, that would be the mature way of going about it. But a lot of the people that I've dealt with in my past, that if I were to do that, they're going to be completely dismissive anyways. They're not even going to want to acknowledge anything, because that would mean they're taking accountability on their part. The moment they say, yeah, you said some things that upset me because it really got in here about some things I really don't want to talk about and discuss. Instead of saying that, they're like in complete denial about it. So not that you said had any validity, nothing you said had any points to it, and I'm not going to take accountability. It's just you're this, and you're this now. And you've pissed me off because I feel like you've disrespected me in some way. There's no reasoning for it. You haven't told me why you feel like I've disrespected you. There would have to be some truth there, usually, to piss a person off royally. Most people that react, especially emotionally, especially with anger or anything like that, is because there's some bit of themselves that feels that what was said is true. And that hasn't been resolved or even acknowledged. When a person is severely triggered to anger or rage, it is because something that was said or stated or brought up into the light has triggered them to feel a certain way about themselves. And instead of acknowledging that or even voicing that, they would rather just turn on you automatically. In that circumstance, I don't really suggest that you approach them and try to make amends or try to resolve anything, because if they're in complete denial and they're not willing to take their own self-accountability, is not a good idea. It's not going to get you anywhere. And a lot of the times we see that with narcissistic tendencies or narcissistic people, because true narcissists, true people that have been damaged beyond, I wouldn't say beyond repair, but damaged to the point where they're not willing to even do any introspection at all. You know, hermit mode, go within, accountability, all that stuff. Their ego is placed there as a big thick wall. Okay? True hurt, broken people usually are the ones that turn into severe narcissistic people, and they're not willing to admit when they're wrong at all. They're not willing to meet you halfway. They're not willing to negotiate, to compromise, to even discuss anything like that, because the moment they break their bubble, then they would have to take accountability for their side too. It's not just one-sided anymore. And those people are generally the ones that were very, very hurt by people usually closest to them, and their trust level is 0, bare minimum. Any sort of thing that triggers any good emotion, they're skeptical of, and they feel like it's going to be ripped up from underneath them. Any sort of vulnerability makes them feel weak when it's actually their superpower. If they would only understand that, you have to conquer your ego. You have to have that tower moment and break down in order to come up out of the flames. You have to be the phoenix to come out of that. But in order to do that, it's a death and a rebirth. That's what a lot of people don't understand. The death of an ego, the death of things that no longer serve you. It can be a way of thinking. It doesn't have to be your body's gone. The death and rebirth, what some people master, is the whole idea of the phoenix. You have to die and then be rebirthed. It's a literal cycle. The death of something that no longer serves you. You're shedding that, and the rebirth of a new way of thinking, new life, new understanding, new version of yourself, a better version of yourself. Some people are afraid to go through that process because it is painful. I'm going to tell you right now, I've died and come back so many times I can't even count. And I've come back stronger every freaking time. I'm not afraid of that. It does not scare me. What concerns me is the people that I care the most for, I've had to leave behind me. And every time I even get close to communicating with them, they want to drag me back down to hell with them. No. No, absolutely not. I would love to sit with every single person whoever I've hurt their feelings by speaking the truth. I would love to sit down and take my accountability and say, listen, I understand I hurt you. The words that I spoke hurt you. The things that I said that came from me hurt you. And I'm sorry for that. And my intention was only pure because I want you to take your own accountability. I want there to be some sort of resolution. I want you to be happy enough to love yourself enough so that there won't be any of this petty stuff where we're picking at each other. Because I never enjoyed that to begin with. I never enjoyed being picked on or bullied. I didn't like that. But at that time, I had no self-love. I have very little boundaries, and I had very little respect for myself. And I let people, I taught them, and I was groomed to allow people to project onto me. But I would love to go to every single person in my life that I have hurt their feelings, because I was not doing that to be mean to you. I was not doing that to hurt you in any way. I was trying to get you to understand that I see both sides of you, and both are acceptable. Both are a part of who you are, and I love you regardless, unconditionally. I love both sides of you, but I will let you know. I will speak to you about the other side because I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to get to that. But my problem was understanding that not everybody thinks the way I do. Not everybody has that clarity to understand that this is a part of the process. You got to go through this in order to get out the other side, or you become stuck. And it's frustrating, especially when you want to compromise and talk with people, when you want to get to some resolution. Not everybody is on board with that. And a lot of people haven't got through that phase. They haven't had that death and rebirth of the ego. They haven't got to that mature moment in life. Some people say, oh, they're mature and, they don't worry about their past and they've moved past that and they don't have to deal with it. Yet they go around tearing people down. What is she wearing? Like, oh my God. Or, yeah, she's acting all weird and stuff. She must really need fucking help. Or who talks like that? Or Like, just like tearing a person down for no fucking reason. When I say, oh, a person has abused me in this way, and I acknowledge it and I accept it. Now I'm doing something to change my behavior and I'm moving forward and I forgive them, but I'm not going to allow them to come back or something. That is me pointing out facts. I am literally stating what I went through and what I'm going to do to change and move forward and be a better version of myself, and acknowledge that and share that with other people so they can understand their situation if they're going through it, and they can do the changes for themselves, because that's all you're responsible for is yourself. I'm not going around trashing what people wear, how they talk, how they fucking carry themselves, what choice they made in food, or where they decided to live, or what kind of car they drive, or how they wear their makeup or their hair, or how they do this and do that in their life, or what decisions they made for their... Like, I don't give a flying fuck. I love myself enough. I'm not concerned about how a person's living their fucking life. I'm concerned about how we're growing and maturing as a collective, as a community, how we treat each other, what we can do to change, what we could do to grow, ideas, thoughts, things that can have an impact, that can make a difference. And I realized even my Nona at one point told me, oh, you're just one person. What can you do? One person can't make a difference, right? That's her opinion. I respect that, but I don't agree with her at all. I believe one person, like a domino effect, can affect many people around them. And I'm doing the best I can to shed my light with people. And I am very passionate when I speak. Sometimes when I speak like this, it comes off like I'm angry. There is no anger in here. I'm not mad. But I'm very passionate about getting the message across, because there's some people that have to understand that if you have a good heart, a decent heart, and you're trying to help other people around you, not everybody's at that level. And I had to understand that. And it is frustrating. It's very frustrating when you want to be the bigger person. You want to be like, listen, like, I understand this, or I point this out saying it's maybe me talking like this has upset you or scared you or something. And not everybody's willing to admit their side to it. So trying to get to some resolution when the other person's not really willing to participate is going to be very difficult, if not impossible. With the whole idea of it takes two to tango. You want to do a dance. You want to communicate. Participate in whatever this is that we call life. Some people think it's a game. It still takes two. So if you got one person that's reluctant and hasn't done their ego work or anything like that, and you got another person that's trying to approach that person to communicate, to get to some sort of even playing ground or even level, and the other one's not going to participate or not even going to communicate on the same level, it's going to be very difficult. And yeah, sometimes you just have to walk away. It sucks. It really does suck. Because I want to go back to every single person in my past. Every single person that I feel, that what I can remember, the words that I spoke, that I acknowledge that I may have hurt their feelings from the things that I've said. I want to take the accountability and say, listen, I'm sorry for that. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be received well. It doesn't mean that they're going to try to demonize me for that and hold that over my head, because they very well might, especially when they haven't done their own work on themselves or their accountability. They will use that as a weapon against you, even though your intention is pure, even though your intention is to get to a resolution. It doesn't matter. You have to be able to understand the difference, and it is frustrating. It really is. Especially when you see more than one side to it. You think I don't understand the people that have done things to me in the past? There's a reason for it. And in their mind, they have validated that it's a good reason. They truly believe that the way they treated me, even if it was disgusting or mean or hurtful or petty or cruel, or even just trying to take from me, which is not theirs, certain things. Do you think that I don't understand that side of it too? Why they're doing it? I have sat my ass down and taken the time to look at all sides, like a 360 view of why they would do that, the reasoning for it, where that may have come from, where it stems from in them. And the only reason I could possibly understand another person's point of view or side of it is because I had to thoroughly go to the depths of my soul, both my dark side and my light side, and figure out who the frick I am and understand my dark side, understand my light side, understand who the hell I am, so I can understand why other people do what they do. There's no way I could get a better understanding than to understand myself first, because people are going to be a reflection of everything that's within me, light and dark. Right now, if I'm having an issue with people pulling away from me and people being afraid to talk to me, it's because me personally, I understand now to the full extent that I am trying to protect myself and my energy. I'm trying to protect the things that I used to give away freely. Without thinking about myself, I just used to hand everybody everything, whatever they wanted, allow them to treat me however, just to keep them around me. Because I'm speaking the truth, I understand that it's hurtful. People said hurtful things to me, some of which was true and some of which was not, but I believed to be true because it was projected onto me to carry. So I'm supposed to embody that as my truth when it was not. I had to learn the difference. Me speaking the truth and saying things right now to get others to realize certain things within themselves is because I truly believe that when they've done their own work on themselves, that they will no longer attack me. I've thought about this. So in a sense, it's like a defense mechanism of my own. Knowing full well the process that I've gone through and how much I benefited from it and how much I truly love and care about myself, I want that for other people. But I understand how hard it is to get there, and not everybody's willing to take those steps. And I understand fully that me speaking certain truths is going to be very painful. So in a sense, the people that have bullied me, that have hurt me by me speaking the truth and pulling up some things, especially from the depths, all that emotion, I understand that it's almost like me bullying them back. Only my intention is not to hurt them the way they hurt me for no gain, because they didn't gain anything. Even if they thought they did, they didn't. My intention is for them to be the best versions of themselves so that they won't hurt me or other people, which is a little fucked up if you think about it. And I understand fully that there's free will. I understand there's going to be people that listen to some of the stuff I say, completely dismiss it. I understand there's people that are going to listen to some of the stuff I say and think it's a crock of shit or laugh at me even, like a form of entertainment. And that's a way for themselves not to acknowledge certain things or take accountability. I understand there's people that are going to come across some of the stuff that I say and be inspired to do their own work, or even take some advice of mine or integrate some of that, which what I've learned, into their own lives and improve themselves. I understand there's going to be people that have not fully understood how to become their own authentic self, and they may copy what I do but not acknowledge it and just take from me what they wish. I understand there's going to be some people that come across my videos and that are going to be in complete shock, not only for who I've become, but some of the information that's divulged, or some of the things that they've learned from my videos, or that they're learning from their own selves, like, or maybe have their own rude awakening that they're going through, and they come across my videos and they resonate. I understand there's going to be many, many different people that are going to view me in many, many different ways. The only person to me whose opinion matters is my own, how I see myself. I see myself as very, very strong, very resilient, powerful beyond words. I see myself as somebody who is creative, who's authentic, who loves their inner child so much that she's willing to protect her from anyone or any situation or anything. I see myself as somebody who has come so far, but still has yet to acknowledge that all the work that I've done, which is why probably other people are not acknowledging it, because I'm not even acknowledging it within myself. I haven't taken the time to fully comprehend everything that I've gone through because I'm so strong. I don't fully understand that some people would not make it through this, what I've gone through. Because I haven't taken the time, I need to do more meditation. I need to do more introspection and appreciate the work that I've put in. I can love myself very much fully and be my authentic self and not be afraid of that anymore, but to fully appreciate to the extent all the work that I've put in myself physically, emotionally, spiritually, and all that, I have yet to do that. And then I expect from other people, or I would hope that other people acknowledge me and appreciate me. How? How are they supposed to do that? If they can't acknowledge that within themselves, and if I could barely acknowledge that within myself. I'm working really hard, and I continue to work hard, and I would love to sit down with every single person that maybe I feel a bridge has been burned between them and myself. I will take my part in it, but I really, really want them to do theirs as well, to take their part in it. And it has to be a 50-50. Whoever approaches me now in my life has to come with me with their true, authentic self. Meaning they're going to have to be vulnerable. If they can't do that, I'm not allowing many people into my space. I'm not allowing anybody to come even close to my inner child or anywhere near the very divine parts of me if they're not going to be authentic. The moment I catch on that they're hiding or keeping something from me, or that their intentions are not pure, or that maybe they have some codependency things and they just want to cling to my energy, or that they don't even want to do any work, they just want to reap the rewards of being around me or what I have to offer them, I will cut it off. I will not allow that, because that's not fair to me. And yes, it's a lonely way of living, but I have been through so much, and I have been through so much pain. If I am willingly allowing people to come in that are just going to take advantage and hurt me, I have nobody to blame but myself. Once you acknowledge that, once you understand that, your circle becomes smaller. The people you allow yourself around change. The things you see in others, you acknowledge and understand both sides of them, but you also see which one they're functioning out of. Are they functioning out of their higher vibrational self, or are they functioning out of their lower vibrational self? What are they resonating in? Are they allowing their darker side to take the wheel and steer, or are they allowing their more divine side to take the wheel and steer? Which side are they operating out of? When you acknowledge that stuff within yourself and you start hanging around other people, you start to see everything. All the red flags, but all the good stuff, the goodness within them, all their potential. And it's really upsetting, especially when you see a potential in somebody to be extremely great. And you could try to tell them that and share what you've learned and try to get them to see that. But they have to acknowledge it within themselves too. Or you're emptying all that unconditional love out of your cup to try to help them, to try to lift them up and cheerlead them, to lift their vibration. But if they can't do the same for you, if they can't lift you up too, then you are just pouring your heart out, so to speak. You're pouring your cup out to somebody And it's not equal. It's not a 50-50 thing. I'm willing to meet people halfway. I'm willing to sit down and talk with them, but they need to be able to do their part too. The moment I see reluctance, the moment I see that ego wall up there, and they start attacking me, my character, or coming at me in self-defense to protect themselves, what they think is protection of themselves because I've hit a trigger or something like that, will be the moment I realize this is not worth my time anymore, because I will end up bleeding myself dry and they will suck the life out of me. I have reached out to people that I feel deserve my attention, my affection, my advice, or whatever you want to call it, my energy. I've reached out to people and offered my hand to them. Some of them have literally tried to pull me down under. Other people have tried to bite that hand. Other people have tried to come up and meet me halfway, but then maybe flip to the more darker side the moment they reach that barrier again, that wall. You really need to be able to discern certain things, and it's upsetting. It's upsetting to me because there's so many people I want to still be around. There's so many people I miss. There's so many people I fucking care about deeply. So much. There's so many people I want to go back to. I've worked really fucking hard on myself. I have high expectations of myself. It's not fair to others to have high expectations of them, but I see their potential. I see their light. I see their dark. I don't want to sit there and just tell them all the dark stuff, because then they're going to feel I'm attacking them. Don't want to do that. But I'm not doing it without full understanding. If I sit there and I say, listen, there are some things that have come up that I've seen within you. There are some things like maybe you haven't resolved some things for forgiveness of maybe a past ex-lover or something like that. And because of that, I feel that if I were to go any further with you, that you are going to use that as a good excuse to kind of project onto me. I understand it fully. I'm not going to hold that against you. I'm not going to judge you for it. But that to me is a red flag. So I cannot go further or offer you any more of my energy, knowing full well what I'm getting myself into. The only reason I understand what I could be potentially getting myself into is by understanding myself and what I went through. You understand? I've been through it. I understand it fully.